Hello everyone, and welcome to a test build for Felix the Toy DX, a director's cut of the original Felix the Toy. I made a game analysis video for the original game, the developer saw it, and they were fond of it. We've become friends since then, though of course I don't hold back any criticism. This, the director's cut test build, has some new areas, like in the house. We can see over here there's an entirely new area, the basement. Having played the original Felix the Toy quite a lot, it's rather surreal to see such an expansive area just tucked away where previously there was nothing. The platforming in this test build, and I assume the DX version in general, is definitely more harrowing and challenging than what was present in the original game, and I prefer the pathfinding here a lot more. Figuring out where to go next is more difficult in Felix the Toy DX, at least based on this test build, and I appreciate that, because the pathfinding and looking at a normal human environment from the perspective of a toy is what I appreciated the most about the original game. And I think everything that was great about the original Felix the Toy seems to be present at least in the test build. The single jump is great, it's deliberately floaty to make it easier to gauge your jumps and to make the platforming more challenging. You can make small and large jumps with ease. As was already said, the pathfinding, which was the main draw of the original Felix the Toy, is still here. The idea of looking at human environments from the perspective of a toy and seeing these wonderful worlds, it sort of recaptures a childlike innocence that's missing for a lot of people. I'm definitely reminded of times that I used to play with toys in my home as a child and made them platform around the environment, just like Felix is doing right here. The game is also an excellent homage to Toy Story 2, which the developer is very fond of. Of course, there's also a fair bit that seems to have been improved. The camera, I can say, is a lot better. It's still far from perfect, but it is so much better than it was in the original game. It gets stuck on the geometry much less often. The new HUD looks much more presentable than the original. That's also a huge bonus, but I think that's enough of the home level. Let's look at the other stuff the test build has in store for us. So as we explore a very work-in-progress level, the pool, you might be asking yourself, what am I doing playing this test build? What's the end goal here? Well, I loved the original Felix the Toy, and I want the developer to make Felix the Toy DX as good as it can be. And if you purchase Felix the Toy on Steam or itch.io, they get more money that can go toward creating this game. They plan to have original music if they have sufficient funding, and in general, making a 3D platformer is hard and costs money and time. So, you know, if this looks a little bit interesting, Felix the Toy is cheap on itch.io and Steam. And Felix the Toy on Steam goes on sale sometimes for under $1 even. I just love their game. I want to see the DX game come to fruition, and I'm helping in what little way I can by pointing out that it exists, you can purchase it, and they're working hard on the deluxe version. They also told me you get the deluxe version free if you buy the original game. This area is the construction site, another new level being added to Felix the Toy DX. It seems much more finished than the other in-progress levels so far. And honestly, I really like the platforming as it's presented here. I'm sure that a lot of things are going to change over the course of development, but for example, climbing these stairs at first is a bit challenging, but you'll also see what I mean by Felix's floaty jump working to your advantage in judging your jump height and distance. It gives you so much time to think about where you're going to land and precisely angle yourself, so that things which seem slippery or tough at first, you can quickly adjust to. You might notice there are a lot of coins, by the way, lying around in Felix the Toy. I was told by the developer that the coins will have an explicit purpose in DX. The developer's planning to make all of the coins mandatory. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it. They said that they will fiddle with the coin placement so that way it's not tedious to collect them, but I'm still not sure that making them all mandatory is optimal, and I'm sure they'd appreciate any feedback you have on that change, whether you agree with me or not. But they do plan to make the coins actually do something, whereas in the first game the coins were just for fun. This area still has the original HUD as it was presented in the original Felix the Toy game, with some minor changes. And you can see that the HUD that we saw in the house was so much better. It was so much cleaner. So that was a bit of a quick look at some of the new content in the Felix the Toy DX test build. I cannot stress enough it is a test build. There is still a lot to work on, but the developer's working hard. For example, the camera issue in the supermarket here has been fixed. The camera used to be pretty bad here, used to have some severe frame rate drops, but it's gone now. It's all fixed up. So platforming in the supermarket is now much easier. And if Felix the Toy at all seems interesting to you, go give it a look. It's cheap on both Steam and itch.io, and it supports the developer making this better, improved version. Thank you everyone for your time.